Hey, what's up YouTube fam? We're back with another tutorial. This is a transformation on my boy Ronald. He is from Philadelphia. He actually came out here to visit some family, so this is my first time cutting him. He found me through Instagram, so stay tuned so we can see this transformation, right? Alright, so since this was my first time cutting him, I want to go ahead and start off with the top so I could make sure that the hair is cut evenly. He did want to take some length off, and I could just set the whole structure of the haircut from the top and then fade into that. So we're just going to go ahead and saturate the hair. Next, we're going to take two sections on the top of his head. We're going to be taking vertical sections, and they're going to be about 2 fingers width apart. I believe he just wanted about, I want to say about 1 inch off the top, just a nice little trim. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that hair up nice and tight, high, keep nice good tension, and we're gonna take off about 1 inch, and then we're gonna follow that same guideline all the way to the back. After that, we combed everything to the side. So as you're watching this, we combed all to the left side. And now we're going to take horizontal section, meeting our guideline that we made in the middle. So as I pull to the side, you can see as I'm pulling back up, you can see where the short hair is closest to the right side of my hand. And then you just cut and meet those two in the middle. And each time you're moving forward, closer to the front of his head, you're taking a part of the previous section. So I would say, cut that section in half and connect it to the next section so you can still see your guideline. You don't want to take too much of the next section because then you're going to lose your guideline. So as you can see the short hair that I cut previously plus the guideline from the original guideline we made in the beginning, and then you just meet them all up. And after that, we're going to take the front, and we're just going to pull that all the way back, just checking our work, making sure everything's nice and even. Alright, so now what we did to one side, we got to the other side. So I'm going to take about a middle section where I'm taking part of the left section that I had previously, and then we're gonna just meet those two in the middle now. So now I'm gonna pull up, you can see what the short hair is from the previous guideline on the left side, and we're connecting it to the right side. And I'm talking about the way you're seeing the video right now. Obviously it's vice versa on how I was cutting. And then same thing, just follow all the way back. Now that we got everything cut on both sides, we're just gonna push the hair forward, and we're just gonna double check everything, make sure everything's nice and even, and that'll be it for the top. Alright, so right here I'm just putting some oil serum in his hair. All this is gonna do is give it a nice polished look to it after we blow dry it, and also it's gonna protect it from the heat from the blow dryer, so it's gonna be a heat protective as well. And my whole objective right here when I'm blow drying is just to get the hair up and nice. He did want, more of just like a messy up look. Sorry, I didn't explain what kind of hairstyle he's getting. He's getting a high fade with a messy look on top, just up with some texture in there. So I'm just getting it all up right now so I can see really what hairs need to be cut shorter or if it's a good length, and just checking out what the scissor work did. So I noticed, some parts were a little bit longer in the back, and I wasn't liking it, so I just went back in and just refined everything. Alright, so now moving on to the fade. I'm starting off with clipper over comb. This is a little bit different, but what I'm doing is just setting up the base. So I'm going in, scooping out, and just creating that square shape to his head, so that later on when I come back, I can come back with my one guard open with my clipper and fade into the long hair that's on top. So like I said, this is a high fade. This may look like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? But we're gonna blend into that, and it's gonna be a super high fade. So not a super high fade, but it's gonna be a high fade where it's gonna blend right into it. All right, just trust the process. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and set our ball guideline. Always, the same way how we do when we come to a high fade, right at the bottom of his vertical bar where his C cut meets the vertical bar. And we're just gonna take that straight back and we're gonna just debulk. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so now we're going to start with our one guard open. This is with the Andes magnetic guards. I do fade differently sometimes. I want to give you guys as many different techniques. So this is one with the Andes magnetic guards. And we're just taking off the bulk from the bottom that the clipper over comb didn't get, and slowly blend it into the shape that we made with the clipper over comb. And you know, later on we will fix any dark spots higher on, around the parietal ridge. So now we're taking our number 2 guard with the lever completely closed, and we're just gonna flick out into the parietal ridge, lighting up the area around there so it has a smooth transition. Make sure to use corners to line up dark spots, and because you don't want to create a new line. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take no guard on there, blade completely open, and we're gonna make about an inch guideline. All right, so this would be about a width of your finger, and we're gonna follow that all the way across, following the same guideline that we made. All right, so now it's time to remove that ball guideline. So I'm gonna leave this in normal speed so you can see it, but you're gonna have the lever completely closed now, and you're gonna move up about 1/4 of an inch. All right, so if you haven't seen my other videos, I explain this all the time. You have to move up on that first guideline in order to get a smooth transition from bald to, you know, your fade. So push it up, open up the lever about halfway, go up another 1/4 of an inch. All right, pushing that fade up. You really want to get this bald guideline out. And after that, we're gonna pretty much open it all the way, and we're gonna go up. All right, so we opened it a total of 4 times. So you had completely closed, about halfway, between halfway and completely open, and now we have it completely open, and we're just making sure that we're making that guideline that we did previously and that we didn't go anywhere above that. So now when we go back to blend that out, it'll have a smooth transition. Now that I got that bald guideline out, now I can go back to my shavers and bold out everything below that, and then you have a smooth transition. Now all you got to do is take out that last line, and now you don't have to worry about, you know, creating too much of a baldness where it's hard to take out. If you do kind of go a little bit too high, just go ahead and back with your clipper. If that doesn't take it out, go back with your trimmer, and then you'll have a nice smooth transition. Butterfingers. Right here, I'm just, you know, going back over, checking my work, lever plane, and just make sure everything's nice and smooth. All right, so this is Andy's half guard, or it's called the 0 guard. We have the blade completely open, and now we're just, you know, using corner and working from the lever completely open to close. Since this is the last guideline, you want to use a lot of corners because this is fading now. Now we're really fading. We're not making any guidelines. So you want to be very, you know, super diligent when you're working. Use a lot of corners and just pick out dark spots and just get a nice shade from light to dark. So right here I noticed, you know, the 0 guard or the half guard wasn't doing much. So I went and took the guard off real quick, blade completely open, and did some more corner work, and you can see that it starts to fade out. So don't be afraid to, you know, change guards if you need to in order to get a line out or to soften up, you know, a dark spot. Like always, like to go over with the scissor of comb, gets a nice transition. Alright, moving to the good stuff, the beard. I'm gonna have my 2 guard right here, and we're going from the bottom of his earlobe up and just clearing off bulk, and then we're gonna fade into that 2 guard. Same steps, blade completely open, work that out. Don't be too, particular on really getting that perfect, because once you blend everything out, you could really see what you need to detail, and then you could go back between your guards. All right, so you want to go through these pretty quick, just so you could see what you need to detail and what's giving you trouble. Back to the 0 guard, open to close. Right here I'm not fully done with the blending, but I wanted to go ahead and hit that back neckline, keep it as natural as possible, using my gamma hitters as always with that P3 blade on there. And this just helps me see really what I need to fade out more. I noticed towards the bottom of his ear it's a little bit darker, and I'm gonna have to fade a little bit more. But I just like to move on, let my eyes adjust so that they don't get too focused, and then I'll come back later and do some detail work. Line up the mustache, pretty self-explanatory. Now the razor work is super important. This is what makes everything pop. I am using my Turkish razor right here. This is my favorite razor by far. Just pulling up the skin with my thumb, keeping it nice and tight, having him blow a bubble as I get closer to his mustache so I have a flatter surface, keeping the razor at a 45-degree angle, and just picking each hair one at a time. It may look like I'm using the whole blade, but I am using, leading more towards either the heel of the blade or the front of the blade. And since I did a dry shave right here, I went with the trimmer to take off those longer hairs, just so I don't irritate the skin. Like I say, always go over the razor work about 2-3 times so you get a nice crispy line. As you can see, look how sharp that is looking. He was like, damn, that's sharp. But that's how you gotta do. You gotta go over 2-3 times to make sure it's nice and even. Right here, I'm just checking, seeing where the lineup is landing on both sides of his cheeks, just so I could get a nice symmetrical line. Same steps on this side, so I'm gonna let you guys follow along and try to understand what I'm going to be doing next. So right here I noticed there's like a little hair hanging over the line, not letting it get extra sharp. So I went with my scissors, kind of went over that area, and as you can tell, fixed that problem. Now we're going to move on to the bottom neck of his line and then shaping it. So he pretty much had a guideline where he wanted it, so I kind of followed it where it was at. I started in the middle, put a nice guideline in there, keeping it low so he has a nice full beard. And now I'm just meeting it from the bottom of his jawline on one side and following it obviously on the other side as well, meeting those in the middle. Step back, see what side is lopsided or what side is dipping, and then correct that. Right here I'm using a beard straightener, and this is just smoothing out the beard, getting all those knots out, letting the beard lay down, getting all the waves out, so when I come to shape it, I can make sure I get everything nice and even. How many of you guys actually want me to drop my own beard straightener? If you do, make sure to comment down below, and I could be in the works for one, alright? And when you're using the beard straightener, you want to go in all different directions, up, sideways, and down, to make sure you get the hair evenly straight and fully extended. Now I'm standing behind my client and he's tilted back a little bit, and I'm just going over the hairs that are sticking over, going from the top of his cheek and smoothing it straight down, keeping that nice shape. And then as you can see, there's hairs hanging over the line I created. I'm gonna go over and cut those all off to give it a nice full shape to it. If If you guys have still been sticking around and still watching this video, I appreciate you guys. If you are new, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We've been growing. I appreciate you guys so much. Our channel is almost at 13,000 subscribers. We're going to be hitting 20,000 subscribers soon. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure to hit that like button and let me know what kind of hairstyles you want to see next, or if there's any type of videos you guys want me to make in particular that will help you guys more. All right, so if you guys are gaining value, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know. Now we're just gonna throw some texture powder in there. Be on the lookout. I am dropping my own personal texture powder, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. But this is just gonna add, you know, some nice dry matte finish to the hair, give it some volume and texture. After that, I like to throw in some clay in there just to give it a more matte and a good hold to it. If you aren't following my brand, go ahead and make sure to follow it. I'll have the link down below to my Instagram. I'm gonna be giving updates on there, tutorials, and showing you guys what products I'm gonna be dropping. Now go over that lineup one more time. Make sure it's super crispy and that it's not gonna move or change anyway. When he goes home, this is gonna be the freshest and crispiest lineup he's ever had. And like we always do it, make sure to throw some aftershave on there, makes them feel nice and refreshed. Hit them with that blow dryer so it cools them off. And that's the cut, guys. So this is how my client Ronald came in before. He was needing a blessing, and this is how my boy left the chair. Bam! Look at that. Lineup super crispy, beard's on point. You got a nice high fade with a nice, you know, transition from light to dark. Top's nice and trimmed down, looking good. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to smash the like button, make sure to comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one, alright?